Have you ever wondered why solitude feels like a burden for some, a weight they desperately want to escape, while for others, it feels like a blessing, a breath of freedom and peace? Why do some women who live alone seem lighter, more radiant, even more mysterious than those constantly seeking attention, approval, or a place on the stage of other people's expectations? Many of us were raised to believe that being alone means something is wrong, that solitude is something to avoid, to fix, even to heal from. Society often labels solitude as a problem, a sign of failure, of rejection, of someone who simply wasn't lucky enough. And for women, especially in a world that often measures worth by relationships, recognition, and visibility, being alone is seen as a flaw. But what if I told you that solitude, this so-called void, is actually a doorway, a portal to deep inner awakening? Carl Jung called this process individuation. Not about becoming better by society standards, not chasing success, but returning to your core, to that inner source of strength and wisdom buried beneath years of conditioning, fear, and expectations. Jung once said, "Loneliness does not come from having no people around, but from being unable to communicate the things that seem important to oneself." Solitude is not the absence of someone. It is the presence of yourself. It's the rare silence where your inner voice finally speaks. When you can hear it, distinct from the noise of the world telling you who to be, how to look, what to do to earn love and belonging. Jung believed that loneliness often arises not from being physically alone, but from the inability to be understood, truly understood, on the deepest level. That's why a woman who chooses solitude is not lonely. She simply stopped giving her energy to people who cannot see her truth. She no longer lives her life to meet others' demands or fit their stories. And that is liberation. But let's be honest, this path isn't easy. It takes courage to meet yourself without filters, without roles, to face your own shadows, doubts, contradictions, the parts of you you've hidden, even from yourself. Have you ever asked yourself, what happens when a woman stops looking for validation? When she no longer needs to please or fears being misunderstood? It's not selfishness. It's maturity. It's a choice. It's a beginning of individuation, a return to your inner truth, not a performance, not a mask. This is a brave path, the courage to be with yourself, not as a victim, but as a seeker, to listen not to the outer noise, but to the quiet whisper of your soul. Since childhood, we were told that a woman alone is cause for concern, that if she's alone, something must be wrong. Who did she lose? What didn't she find? Who didn't want her? But what if the truth is the opposite? What if solitude is not emptiness to be filled, but a sacred space where authenticity is born? Jung said, "A man does not become whole by trying to be like everyone else, but by discovering his own self." Solitude is not a punishment. It's a passage, an invitation inward. Maybe you know this feeling, when your independence makes people uncomfortable, when your self-sufficiency is mistaken for coldness, when your not searching is seen as a problem, when your refusal to please makes you suspicious. But isn't that power? A woman who is no longer the object of someone else's gaze becomes the subject of her own life. In Buddhism, there's a phrase, the wisdom of solitude. It's not an escape from the world. It's a way to truly connect with it, not through roles, not through approval, but through stillness, through the clear knowing that you are already whole. You don't need someone else to complete you. You're not here to prove anything. You already are. And from this place, a new woman emerges. Not a woman performing a role, not a woman chasing approval, but a woman whole-rooted, sovereign. Jung wrote, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens." You don't have to live by someone else's story. You can rewrite your own, erase the shoulds and the scripts, and ask yourself, who am I really? What makes me feel alive? What I choose? That's individuation. That's the path to yourself, to the archetype of the woman who no longer confuses being needed with being loved, approval with worth, or solitude with lack. Solitude is not a prison. It's a sacred space where you hear you. No noise, no masks, no roles, only presence, only truth, only breath. Yes, it can feel scary at first, like stepping into a cave, into silence, into the unknown. But Jung said, "In the cave you fear to enter lies the treasure you seek, and the woman who dares to enter finds a strength she never imagined, a strength that doesn't depend on anyone's approval, attention, or presence, a strength born not of resistance, but of radical self-acceptance, the strength to be herself." For many women, solitude is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a life lived from within, from authenticity, not to be chosen, not to be validated, but to be, because she already knows she is enough. When a woman embraces solitude, she returns to herself, and in that return, something extraordinary happens. Fear becomes clarity, pain becomes wisdom, emptiness becomes space, and that space becomes freedom. Jung spoke of the shadow, the parts of us we hide, suppress, or fear. And solitude is when the shadow steps into the light, not to harm us, but to heal us. This confrontation, though intense, births real power. It's the moment we stop running toward approval and start walking toward wholeness. No more roles, no more masks, no more shaping ourselves to fit. Just the quiet, grounded freedom to be human, to be whole, to be home. In Buddhism, they speak of the wisdom of solitude, the deep peace that comes within, not shaped by chaos, not shaken by opinions, but held in stillness. In solitude, you meet your true self, the version of you that doesn't perform, the one who listens, the one who feels, the one who knows. And here lies the truth. Solitude is not punishment. It's not exile. It's not failure. It's a teacher, a sacred ally, a mirror that reflects the woman you've always been. Because in solitude, a woman doesn't just find herself. She learns to love herself, not from scarcity, but from overflow, from fullness, from connection to her own soul. And from that place, everything shifts. Relationships become deeper, freer, more honest, because they're no longer built from need, but from shared presence and mutual respect. Jung taught that the path to wholeness is not outside you. It's a return to the inner flame, to the light that not only illuminates your path, but offers warmth to others walking beside you. Solitude is not a curse. It's awakening. It's the quiet revolution inside your heart. The path of the woman who is no longer afraid to be fully, completely, unapologetically herself. And from that radical self-love comes the deepest healing and the truest strength. You may not know what's next. You don't have to, because you already know this. You are here, and that is enough.